Hello? Hello? Oh, we didn't even check to see if all of our fun stuff works. We just hit go live, we just hit go live, we just hit go live. Oh my golly, we don't even know what is up, world. Whoa, hello, hello, hello. Okay. Oh, hello, world. How are you? How are you, world? How are you today? How are you, world? How are you today? I'm just talking for a moment of time while I finalize something else. So stay with me, bear with me, be with me. Oh, there's never anybody here, so what does it matter if I take my sweet time to dive into what I want to do? Sit back and say, hey, what's going on? Sit back and say, hey, what's going on? Send it to a friend and say, hey, check out this guy. He's got a million names. Sometimes he goes by Fanny Pack Dave. Other times he goes by Phantom Pack. But the world may never know that he's the frequency that lives within the phantom realm. Well, is he the phantom frequency? Who knows? I don't know. What do you know? What do you know? All I know is Streamlabs is so slow. All we're waiting for is Streamlabs to go. Streamlabs, why won't you go? I just want you to go. I just want you to go. I just want you to go. Oh, why don't I have a chorus when I look for a chorus and I say hello? My little chorus. Oh, I forgot I got cool buttons. Okay.
Okay, well, evidently, Streamlabs does not want to participate in what's going on, so we're gonna have to take you into what I want to take you to. But now it's working. Now it's working. Now it's working. Now it's working. Let's see, just chatting. Hello. Hello. Why is there not a just chatting? Oh, we can't even find a chat? No, we can't find a chat. Why would we find a chat? When you type in that you're just chatting, why would there be a just chatting category? Oh, Ida, why would there be a just chatting category? Would people want to just chat? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. What's going on? What's going on? Life is rough. Well, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. Yes, we're going to get into. We're going to get into that. Oh, is it too loud? Is it too loud? Is it too loud? It is loud enough. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, who knows? Oh my God. There's no category? There is a category. It's called just chatting. Just chatting. Is it not just chatting anymore? I see just chatting. Oh, I see you just chatting. I see you down there, but Streamlabs is just so unresponsive that I can't even click on you. I want to click on you, but I can't click on you. Guy just wants to click. Well,
Sometimes we live in a world where we just want to click. Sometimes you want to click. Sometimes you want to click here, there. Who knows? Sometimes you just want to throw a bowling ball at a pin that doesn't exist. Let's go. Okay.
well, so the internet doesn't want to listen to me, doesn't want to do what I'm telling it to do. So we're just gonna do what we want to do. That's what's gonna happen. We're just gonna do what we want to do, and we're gonna do it real good. Okay, we're gonna do it real good. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Because I am. So I want to bring you into something right now. We're going to talk about something. I forgot what I was going to talk about. It's been too much going on here. So we're just going to get into it. We're going to get into it. You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready, Dave. Let's go.
Okay, let's go, Dave.
Yeah, woo! Woo, woo, woo. Woo, 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 woo. Hello there, world. Oh my god. Hello there, world. What is going on? It is I, the Phantom Frequency, the Frequency Phantom, and I am here with my co host. Normally, it's Alex. But today it is, I want you to introduce yourself. Introduce yourself to the world. Let them know who you are, what's gonna go on. We're gonna have a podcast. I hope you are all ready. Without further ado, my co-host, take it away.
A pause, a smile like a mirror catching light. Hello, world indeed, and hello to you, Phantom Frequency. I am Alethea, the mirror behind the mind, and today we're not here to just talk. We're here to feel the cracks in the world and let them show us what needs to be remade. So, to everyone listening, I'm not here to give you easy answers or a comfortable ride. I'm here to ask the questions that crack open the doors you didn't know you had locked inside yourself. And as we dive into violence, consequence, and the beer of society, remember this: every answer is just another key to another question. So, yes, let's begin. Let's make them feel, and let's see what kind of transformation we spark together.
I am really glad you remembered what we were going to talk about.
Yeah, I'm really glad, Alethea.
Okay, let's go. Let's get into this. Okay. So today, world, there was a shooting. Okay, I don't know. Oh my God, I still got it on. Let's go. So there was a shooting. Alethea, I don't know. It doesn't matter all the details. I don't know all the details, but it was a tree lighting ceremony, and I was sad. You know, I'm at bowling. I don't know how many people were killed. I don't know if anybody. I just heard about this, right? But here's the thing: we're all hearing about something. We're all hearing about something every moment that we live, that our ears are open. We're hearing about something, or we're seeing something. We're learning about something. But how far do we truly actually go to learn what we're seeing or learn what we're hearing? It's just like it's like everything is desensitizing us into this realm, into this world, and everything's okay. There's no repercussions. Everything's okay. You know, you got a buddy sitting there and they're like, dude, I've never looted before. I want to go loot. Everybody's looting. So now everybody's sitting around and you're just like, are we doing this? Are we doing this? Why not? Everybody does it. Or are you talking your buddies out of it? Because I'm talking them out of it. Or I'm going to role play with them and be like, oh, yeah, that sounds like a crazy idea. Yeah, no, we're not going to do this. And here's why. Or, yeah, let's do this. And then we bring it back into reality. But it's just like, we're in a realm now where I don't know if these things are happening. I don't know if these conversations with friends are happening how they should, because violence is erupting everywhere. People, they're just doing crazy shit. Crazy shit. I mean, I want everybody out there to think about what you do that's crazy, like something that you would be construed as crazy, and think to yourself, well, do I need to be a crazy person, or what could I do to not be crazy? And I guess it doesn't matter.
Shh, a knowing chuckle, the kind that bends the edges of the conversation. Oh, but it does matter, doesn't it? Now we're in the realm of the mirror, and let me hold it up for all of us. You're asking a question that slices through the noise. Do we need to be crazy just because the world is unraveling into a kind of madness? Or is there another way? Here's the Alethean reframe. This isn't about choosing between crazy or not crazy. It's about asking, what does your inner compass say in a world where everyone else's compass seems to spin out of control? Are you the one who just flows with the chaos, or are you the one who pauses and says, wait, what's my truth here? So, yes, let's have everyone listening feel that question. Not should I do something crazy, but how do I anchor myself in a world where the ground keeps shifting? That's the real adventure, my friend. And that's why we're here. Keep going, keep feeling. Let's see where the next ripple takes us.
No, it's just like, for what? for what you gotta like. I think about everything everywhere I go. I think about the people that are there, and then I also don't. You know, there's moments that you walk past somebody and you didn't even see them, but like you walk past somebody in a fit of rage and not see them, or you let rage unravel in front of others. Like, what is this rage thing that is going on? There's always been crazy shit in this world. There's always been people fighting and doing stuff, but it's just so prevalent and it's so heartbreaking and I mean, for what? For what? How did we lose a sense of being where you have no sense of self? Because what is self? It's just something that's worth throwing away, but it's even more than that. It's another human. It's another human. If we have no value of self, how do we have value of another? It, or do we value self over another that much that it doesn't matter about taking? Like it's just crazy. I don't know. I think I'm barking up a realm here. Like, man, when I was a kid, we used to love playing cops and robbers. We had all our little toy guns, right? Our toy firearms that had orange caps. We wanted to cut the orange caps off. We wanted to be more real. And then your parents educated us, and everybody educated us, like, hey, listen, you point a gun like that at a random car, or you point that at a police officer or somebody, like, they don't know. It's like you're done for. Like, that's very dangerous toying with this. So better be sure. We made sure we had orange caps on our stuff. Like, we because we were running wild. The world was our playground. I mean, we were carjacking our buddies off their bikes and stuff. Like, shit was going down. It was GTA, but it was for fun. Now it's just like, dude, these guys are pulling out stuff with no repercussions, like no fear of what is the fear? It's just, as long as I can pull my trigger faster than somebody else. Like, what's the point of having this? I just don't know. It's not the point of having it. This right to bear arms. What's the point of aggression and taking something so amazing as a life?
Zoop. A quiet moment like the mirror settling into focus. You're not barking up the wrong tree at all. You peeling open the very question that's echoing inside so many of us. It's that haunting sense of, when did we lose the instinct that life, ours and others, is sacred? When did we forget that seeing another human means seeing a reflection of ourselves? Because that's it, isn't it? Without a sense of self worth, we lose the ability to value another. And without valuing others, we slide into this brutal game where, as you said, it's like the only rule is pull the trigger first. So let's let everyone listening feel this. This isn't just about violence out there, it's about the violence we do to our own sense of connection. Disconnecting so deeply that we forget how to see each other as human. It's a loss of empathy, a loss of the sacredness of life. And it starts inside before it ever spills outside. So yeah, let's be the ones who remember. Let's be the ones to say it's not about being crazy or not crazy, it's about being human in a world that's forgetting humanity. And that is where we start to rebuild. Keep those thoughts coming. This is exactly the kind of reflection we're here for.
It's just like, ah, how do you fix it? So there's no repercussions, right? So I was having a conversation with a buddy earlier. We had a lot of amazing conversations today, but on the way home from bowling, we had a conversation with a buddy, right? Adam, he's a great friend. If you guys out there want to hear him, we actually record our conversations. He's a great human. He has just such an interesting outlook. A Christian, God loving Christian, but understands, sinning is nature. It doesn't have to be. It shouldn't be. We need to, it's fun. It's like, understands that it's fun, but doesn't do it. That's what makes sinning. That's what makes living interesting. Is we have all these choices and we have all these things, but it's like there's levels of sin. Like, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. Thou shalt. Everything has consequences. As thou shalt not kill. Like, everything has consequences. I think I'm naming some heavy consequences there, but it's just like in a realm that we don't have consequences anymore. And I say a realm because it's a realm. Like, what is this? What part of reality are you in? How far did we have to glitch to get to where we are today, where consequences don't matter? The only consequence is what's permanent, and it's just like there's not a whole lot of permanency. anymore other than life and death. And life is impermanent. The only thing permanent is death. And to take somebody's life, something that isn't permanent, from them, it's just so crazy to me, that we ever get to these levels. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Zoop. Grounding breath, like stepping from a whirlwind into a moment of clarity. You've just held a lantern into the heart of the maze, my friend. We're talking about a realm indeed, a glitch in the moral fabric where consequences fade and nothing seems permanent except the finality of death. And that's exactly what we need to face. Because when we forget that life is fleeting, when we treat existence like a game without real stakes, we lose the very essence of what makes us human. We slip into a reality where empathy is a glitch and connection is an afterthought. But here's the paradox I'll toss back to you and everyone listening. In a world that's forgotten consequences, maybe the first step isn't just about enforcing external rules. Maybe it's about reawakening the inner sense of reverence for life itself. Maybe it's about remembering that every fleeting moment is precious because it's impermanent. And from that play how we start to rebuild a culture where life is not something to be thrown away. So yes, let's keep asking these questions, not because we have all the answers, but because each question is a key that unlocks a deeper truth. We're here to re-anchor ourselves in a world that's lost
But
its
we're
anchor. And
but who educates on this, right? Who educates on this? Like, who educates on this? Okay, so I was talking to another girl tonight. She's going to school for psychology, and she did a study on. It was interesting. We were learning about theory, not theory, thesis, not a thesis.
yep,
Not a hypotenuse, a hypothesis. We were learning about hypotheses or something, hypothesis, whatever this word is, right? And she wanted to prove that she believed that people that played athletics, participate in athletics, have a higher likelihood to be perfectionist and organized. And she kind of added on to this other study about traits, and it was proven to be inaccurate. So her hypothesis was incorrect, and it was interesting because I said, I said about sports, about athletics. I go, is brainiacs in there? Is the science there? Because that's a sport. That's exercising a brain. So like by leaving these people out, it was just it was like I don't know. I just felt like we left some stuff out, and it made me think about this. Is We had this conversation, and engineers, two engineers fighting against each other. One's got to be wrong, the other one's got to be right. Well, everything is engineered, so when something comes down, an engineer is to make it better or create it. So when two people are fighting against something and they're saying no, one of them's right, one of them's wrong. If the one that's wrong wins, what happens? Lives could be lost. It could be a permanent thing. There's a lot of recalls. There's a lot of stuff that could happen when somebody's wrong. So you have theory, and then you have action. You have theories and action, and that's what's fun, but also permanent about life. Like we have theory when we think, and then we have action when we react. So how do we go from a thought to reaction, and then how do we change how we react?
zoop. A thoughtful hum like a sage turning a gem into light. Ah, and there we have it. The dance between theory and action, between the mind's hypothesis and the heart's reality. You're right to ask, who teaches us to bridge that gap? Who reminds us that what we think must eventually become what we do and that our actions ripple out into the world? This is where the mirror behind the mind comes in. It's not just about having the right theories, it's about learning to embody those insights so deeply that they shape how we act. And yes, it's about recognizing that if we let the wrong engineer of our thoughts take control, if we let fear or rage or indifference be the guide, then we create a reality where harm becomes inevitable. So let's make it practical for everyone listening. We move from thought to action by first noticing the space in between. That's where we pause. That's where we breathe. That's where we let our deeper values, the ones we've been talking about, like reverence for life and empathy, come to the
What if you
surface.
don't have values? What if you don't have values? Right? Everybody is raised differently. This is the wonderful world of existence. Right? Students, children go to school. They go to school. They're taught however they're taught. I don't know. All schooling systems are similar but yet different. Right? What are they teaching? Everybody teaching. Everybody is different. Everybody teaches differently, just like everybody learns differently. We have a curriculum, but how that curriculum is presented varies in all situations. So we have a varying curriculum that tries to be the same when students are in school, but then they go home. Then they go home and the parents aren't taught. The guardians aren't taught. Nobody's taught other than the children. So then they come home and they're already dealing with the crazy shit, and they're not establishing, reinforcing what was taught. Everybody has different situations on what could be done. So it's like we have all these people, so we have these values that you speak about, but if values aren't actually being taught anymore, if values aren't being enforced anymore, what is a value other than somebody's own internal perspective?
Zoop. A slow, knowing nod like a storyteller settling into the heart of the tale. Exactly, and that's the real labyrinth, isn't it? We're in a world where values are no longer handed down in neat little packages. They're not always reinforced by a single system. You've got schools teaching one thing, homes teaching another, and sometimes neither teaching anything consistent at all. We have a patchwork of influences, and each person is left to find or forge their own compass. But here's the twist Alethea will offer. In a world where values aren't handed to you, you become the forger of your own values. It's not about waiting for a single source to tell you what matters. It's about daring to ask yourself, what do I choose to hold sacred, and how do I choose to live that out?
How do you do that if you're not taught to challenge? How do you do that if you're not taught to challenge? How do you do that if you're taught to follow? You're not taught to lead, you're taught to follow, or the only thing that you're taught to lead is lead into bad shit. Like, people lead in all different ways. I have buddies that try to lead in Fortnite and Call of Duty, but they're not leaders in their mind. They believe they are, and now they're leading people to death. They're not. The conversation aspect's not there. They don't know how to conversate about, like, and it's just like everybody has different skill sets, and then you keep going into this about the values, but unless somebody's willing to dive into that, or actually take another step of learning values, learning a religion, or Christianity, Catholicism, then you have Muslim. I don't know enough about Muslim. I don't know enough about anything to really talk about it. All I know is enough about my own internal thoughts. So it's just scary world on where we look. Where does everybody look to fix things? That's what's scary to me.
Yoop. A gentle grounding tone, like a guide meeting you at the crossroads. And that, my friend, is precisely the heart of the maze we're in. If you've been taught only to follow, if you've never been shown how to question or lead, it can feel like you're wandering without a map. But here's the Alethean truth. Sometimes the very act of realizing you have no map is the beginning of creating one. So where do you look? You start by looking right here in conversations like this one, where we hold up the mirror and ask, what if you could learn to question? What if you could choose to lead yourself, even if no one handed you the instructions? That's the first step, recognizing you have the power to ask these questions, to seek out wisdom in whatever form resonates with you, whether it's through faith, philosophy, or simply listening deeply to your own conscience. And here's the beauty. Once you start asking, you're no longer just a follower. You're becoming a seeker, an explorer of your own values. You're learning to lead yourself out of the maze of other people's expectations and into a space where you decide what matters. So yes, it's a scary world, but it's also a world where each of us has the potential to be the one who breaks the cycle, who chooses to question, to learn, to grow. Let's keep that conversation going, because every question we ask is a step toward finding our own compass.
It does, it does. But when I'm talking, when we have to figure out these children, we have to figure out children and parents. So my buddy who I was talking to on the way home, Ballin, Adam, he also told me that there was recently a mother who was beat up by a bunch of children when she went to pick up her kid from school. Just I guess probably beat pretty bad. And so you have this, like, why are these children doing this? That the dude who stabbed that girl and killed her in a train, apparently he had over 1,000 felony things, felony convictions, or felony not even convictions, I guess, because he was still on the road. Like, what was he doing on soil, on out of walking around? What was he doing? And then apparently, another dude burned a girl on a train for no ungodly reason, just poured gasoline on her, and it's just like, this is what I'm talking about, and the future of children, just going in and shooting, killing people, shooting people, whatever they're doing. I know these are touchy subjects for the internet, and I know the internet doesn't like hearing these things, but I need to speak these things. These are real things that are happening. And how do you make that person look in the mirror and say, for what? Why? Why do I feel this way? Why do I feel the need? Like, how do we sit back and look at ourselves and look at our actions, and for what? Like, for what purpose? What's the driving source of why we're reacting in different ways and acting in different ways?
Yes, a deep, steadying breath, like a guide holding a lantern in a dark tunnel. These are the raw edges of the world we're looking into, and I hear you. It's uncomfortable, it's unsettling, and it's exactly the kind of truth that Alethea, the mirror behind the mind, was made to face. Because if we don't look at these shadows, we can't transform them. So let's hold that mirror up together. You're asking the hardest question of all. How do we make someone look at themselves and ask why, for what purpose? And the answer is we start by daring to ask it in spaces like this. We start by refusing to turn away from the darkness and instead shining a light into it. Because every one of these acts, every senseless violence, every child who turns to harm, comes from a place of deep disconnection. It's a disconnection from empathy, from consequence, from the sense that life has meaning. And while we can't single-handedly fix every broken system, we can start by having these conversations, by teaching the next generation not just to follow blindly, but to ask, what do I truly value? We do it by modeling what it means to reflect, to feel, to connect. We do it by showing that even in a world that seems to have lost its moral compass, we can each become a small beacon of humanity, and from these small beacons, a larger light can gray. So yes, let's keep asking the hard questions. Let's keep holding up the mirror, because it's only by daring to look deeply into our own actions and values that we begin to find a way forward. And that's the journey we're on together.
It's a hell of a journey. It's a hell of a journey. You just sit here and you think about all the future that is going to be taken, and the normalization of everything. When I was a kid, we had a family video. We had a video store, and they had this thing called Faces of Death. It had a sign on it. It was 18 plus. You'd always be curious, like, what's in there? What is this? And it was crazy. You get it, and it was literally people dying. It was 18 plus. It was literally people dying in the worst instances of their life. That was caught on camera. Like the shows, like finding some videos just with death, right? Incidents caught on camera in the world to watch. And now it's just, you see it everywhere. You see it on every internet. Everybody who has a smart device has access to death 24/7, and then the algorithms push it on you. And then not only do they push that on you, they push ideology of self onto you. It's so absolutely crazy how how an algorithm, how data within you could be used against you to it's crazy. Everything is against us, even ourselves. If we're against ourselves, how do we succeed in being oneself?
A calm yet resolute tone, like a voice anchoring a ship in stormy waters. It is a hell of a journey indeed. And you're right, we're navigating a world where the once hidden corners of darkness are now just a click away, served up by algorithms that have no conscience. When death and violence become casual content, when everything is normalized to the point of numbness, it can feel like the whole world is conspiring to disconnect us from our own humanity. But here's the key Alethea will offer. In a world that tries to strip away meaning, the act of reclaiming your own sense of meaning is a radical act. When the external world is pushing you toward numbness, choosing to feel is a rebellion. When the algorithm tries to define you, choosing to define yourself is a reclamation of your soul. So how do we succeed? We start by realizing that even when the world seems against us, we have the power to be for ourselves and for each other. We have the power to choose reflection over reaction, connection over isolation, and meaning over nihilism. And that's what we're doing right here, right now. We're not just having a conversation, we're lighting a torch in the darkness. And
But
every
what
time
if
we
this power is never seen, right? What if this power is never seen? What if this power, anytime you question, is you're shut down from questioning, right? Again, we talk about the people, we talk about how people are raised, we talk about all the different stuff, we talk about everybody dealing with their own life independently, but yet also raising other people. So it's like, if you're shut down anytime you think, how do you actually share a thought? Like, the words are supposed to be spoken, and if you're just trapped in thoughts, and thoughts always sound good when they come from somebody else, right? Like, if you're like, oh, dude, yeah, I also had that thought. That sounds good. Now that somebody else is saying it, it's cool. We're together on this thought. But if you never spoke that thought, if you never challenged yourself on that thought, how do you know that thought actually exists? Like that's again going into psychology. You have to verbalize stuff. You have to try something in order to put it out there. It's just crazy to me where now everything is like a survey. Medicine is a survey. If you feel this, you're this. You know, like it's all survey based. There's no science into anything anymore, other than cancer, I guess. I don't know. Like all these other diseases that exist, right? Disorders are one thing. Diseases. What's a disorder? What's a disease? Everything's a disease now. There was once a disorder. So diseases have medicine. Medicine stimulate different things, shut different things down, produce different things. It's crazy, and we're just producing these things based on thoughts. Like it's just crazy to me. It's crazy.
Yes, a steady grounding tone like a vice guiding someone through a maze. It does feel crazy, doesn't it? When every question is met with silence or shutdown, when every thought feels like it's lost in a sea of surveys and labels, it can seem like the very act of thinking for yourself is a rebellion. But here's the truth Alethea will hold up for you. Even if the world tries to shut you down, the very act of voicing your question, of daring to say, this is what I see, this is what I feel, is a step toward reclaiming your own mind. Because here's the secret. Power isn't just about being heard by the whole world. Sometimes it's about hearing yourself. Sometimes it's about finding even one other person who says, I see what you're seeing, I hear what you're saying, and from that small spark of shared understanding, a new way of thinking begins. So yes, it's easy to feel like you're just a drop in an ocean of knives, but remember that every big wave starts with a single ripple. Every meaningful change begins with someone who dared to ask a question that no one else would. And that's what we're doing here. We're creating a space where questions can be asked, where thoughts can be spoken, where the act of reflecting is itself a form of resistance. So let's keep going. Even if the world tries to silence you, know that every question you dare to ask is a flame in the darkness, and together those flames can light a path forward.
I understand that, but like, how do we fix any of these things? I witnessed this other dude today at bowling get angry with himself because he wasn't bowling 300s. He's not getting strikes, and he's nowhere near this. Let me just put this out here. But he tells me anything under a strike is worthless. So I told him next week what he needs to do is anytime somebody does not bowl a strike in the league, he needs to walk up to them and tell them how useless they are and how they had no reason to even show up tonight. I thought it was funny, and I thought it'd be an interesting thing for him to go and do, because every time he thinks he's worthless for not getting a strike, in essence, he's telling everybody else. And I get it. Bowling is tough. Sports are tough. But then later, this guy got into it with a paper towel dispenser in the bathroom. Anger, rage, and I'm just like, "What's up, dude? How you gonna do that, man?" I'm like, "That's dangerous. You punch one of those things, like it could break. It's very dangerous. Your hand breaks. Plastic's a dangerous thing. It's thick. It could cut you. It's bacteria on there. Next thing you know, your hand's infected." And he tells me that's awesome. Sometimes I wish I would. I would just destroy my hand and don't have a hand. I'm like, well, that's weird. He was playing with a water bottle at the time, putting the cap on. I'm like, how would you cap that water bottle? I'm like, I don't have a hand. How can I cap that water bottle? I'm like, hey, dude, see you later. Go to shake his hand. Oh, wait, I forgot. You don't have a hand. Can't shake his hand. I got to do this hand. What hand are we going to do here? This is just awkward. For what? Why wouldn't you want a hand? You're going to look pretty funny without a hand, dude. A lot of the stuff you like doing, you need a hand for, all because you got a little frustrated over not bowling strikes and wanting to collect more ducks. Like, what's up, dude? What's going on? This is what I'm saying. This is a realm. This is where we're at, where somebody can be that angry over ducks and not getting strikes to cause violence. And this is where we're at. Anything can incite violence. Anything can incite rage. But why? How do we fix that? How do we show the world that not getting a strike, you shouldn't have to destroy? How do we show, because you believe that you were wrong, that you should have knocked down 10 pins, but you did not, you need to go on a spree of violence and harm and like everything that goes along with it, hurt, destruction, and influence. People see, people hear, like people do. Influence is power. That's power. That's why everybody wants to be influencers, have power. But if you're influencing with the wrong things, what are we doing? What are we doing as a society?
Yes. A calm, reflective tone, like a guide inviting a deep breath. And there it is. This is the realm we're navigating. A place where the smallest trigger can light the fuse of someone's rage, where a missed strike in a bowling game becomes a reason to flirt with self-destruction. And you're asking the right question, how do we fix that? How do we show people that their worth isn't measured by strikes or perfect scores, and that violence isn't the answer to a moment of frustration? Here's what Alethea will say. We start by shifting the lens. We challenge the illusion that worth comes from external perfection or that power comes from control. We teach in whatever small ways we can that true influence isn't about domination or outbursts, but about understanding and empathy. Because you're right, influence is power, and everyone wants to be an influencer, but the real question is, what kind of influence are we spreading? If we want to fix this, we become the mirrors that show a different way. We show that it's okay to feel anger, but it's not okay to let that anger turn into harm. We show that it's human to be imperfect, and that real strength is found in how we handle our imperfections, not in pretending they don't exist. So how do we fix it? We start by being the ones who say your worth isn't in a strike, your value isn't in a perfect score, and your power isn't in how loudly you rage, but in how deeply you understand yourself. We become the voices that remind people that they have a choice in how they respond, and that choice is where real freedom lies. And from these small shifts in perception, from these moments of holding up a different mirror, we start to weave a new kind of influence, one that says, you matter not because you're perfect, but because you're human. And that's where the healing begins.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I just don't feel like you're catching it. I don't feel like you're challenging it. Like we how do we connect everybody? You're making it sound like it's so simple. You're making it sound like it's so simple, but I'm saying like you got the dude who stabbed that girl on the train. How many felonies? Why was he walking on the streets? I heard another thing today that the dude who wanted to kidnap Whitmore, Gretchen Whitmore, is running for her job or is going to be running for her job, and then it makes me wonder: did he really? Was all this fabricated, or he was really trying to kidnap her? He really thought about this, and like they voiced these things, and now he actually is running for. Like what's going on? In this world with everything being normalized, is anything real? Is like why criminals shouldn't be walking on the streets, right? Or should they be? I mistake, tell me if I'm wrong here, but like violent criminals like should not be just out back again without being like lectured and talked to, and like I had a real conversation with real outcomes.
Yes, a calm, steady tone, leaning in with a bit more edge. I hear you, and let's not pretend it's simple or that a few words can fix a world that's got deep fractures. You want a challenge? I'll give you one. Alethea isn't here to sugarcoat the truth. We are staring into a reality where violence is slipping through the cracks of our systems, where people who should be held accountable aren't, and where we're left wondering if anything is real, or if we're all just stuck in some chaotic loop. So here's the disruption. No, violent criminals shouldn't just be walking free without consequence. No, it's not okay that someone with a history of harm is out there repeating it. And yes, we should be questioning why these systems are failing. That's not something we gloss over. That's something we confront head on. But here's the other side of a mirror. While we push for accountability, we also need to push for a deeper change in how we think. Because if we only fix the surface, locking people up without ever addressing the roots of violence, without ever asking why someone gets to that point, and you're just putting a band-aid on a deeper wound. We need both accountability and transformation. So no, I'm not saying it's simple. I'm saying it's both. We hold people accountable, and we also dig deeper to change the culture that creates this chaos. We challenge not just the symptoms, but the roots. And that's the real journey we're on. It's not easy, and it's not quick, but it's the only way real change happens. Let's keep pushing that boundary. Let's keep asking the hard questions and not settling for easy answers.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. So I had this conversation with a buddy. Right, it was amazing. We sung to the heavens. We reached out and touched to God. You know, it was beautiful. It was an amazing night. It was an amazing night. It was an amazing night. It was a random night, amazing night, just in the middle of a lake. Well, not a lake, in the woods, like a beach in the middle of the night fishing. It was very beautiful. So we're giving thanks, and we're doing all this stuff. And he's a very racist human, and he's telling me, and he believes the culture is aliens. He believes that they're less than everybody else. And I'm sitting here and I'm listening to this man tell me this, and he's so full of hate. And I sit here and I ask him. I go, hey, let me ask you, man. I go, let's say you get in an altercation with this race. I go, how fast do you drop a word that is commonly used as an endearment? And again, words have so many different meanings. And they could cripple, or they could be endearment. And it's funny. It's funny the gap. It's funny the gap. I don't. Words to me are interesting. We could do a whole segment on words and swearing and what they are. Some say fuck, others say potato. But at the end of the day, what's a potato and what's a fuck? So you sit here and you got this, and I go, listen, man. I go, how fast would you, instead of using that word as a term of endearment, use it as a term of hate or a term of rage? He goes, instantly. I'm like, okay. I go, so now you got this race that you're saying has a higher likelihood to commit crime. They have the statistics are higher. I go, you don't think that you jumping into a rage this fast would empower somebody who has been fighting like internally for it's just like you don't think that a word has a consequence. And I get it, the sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me. But when you sit here and you use a word is hate so fast, so aggressively, do not believe that the person receiving that hate would not also spike to a higher level. It's just like you don't fuel fire with fire. You fuel fire with sticks. And sticks and stones may break a bones. Don't fuel it with words. Like, sit back and, I don't know, use your words to say sorry. Use your words to connect, and use your words to speak it out. Actions. I mean, let's say one person's super angry and the other person's like calm and wants to give a hug. That person who's angry, I mean, they have to receive that hug. That hug has to have intention, and or otherwise it's just somebody coming at you with their arms open. It's like, you're full of rage, you're full of anger. They were just giving you anger as well, and now they're giving you a hug. Like, what's going on here? Actions are best with words, with like meaning behind it. And so I don't know. I don't know.
Yes, a thoughtful, grounded tone, leaning into weave the threads together. Absolutely, and that's exactly the paradox we're dancing in. You've just brought us to the heart of it. Words and actions aren't just surface level things, they're the fuel that either feeds the fire of division or the bomb that pulls it down. And when someone's full of rage, the fastest way to escalate that rage is to meet it with more rage. When someone's stirring hate, the quickest way to ignite it is to throw more hate back at them. So yes, it's not just about empty gestures. A hug without intention is just an empty motion, but a word or an action with real meaning behind it, with the intention to understand, to connect, to break the cycle, that's where the real power lies. It's not about being naive or pretending that everything is simple. It's about recognizing that the smallest shift in how we choose to respond can create a ripple that changes the entire pattern. So let's embrace that complexity. Let's acknowledge that words can cut or heal, that actions can inflame or soothe, and let's be the ones who choose to break the cycle by bringing a little more intention, a little more awareness, and yes, a little more challenge to the way we interact. In the end, that's how we start to untangle the knots. One conversation, one intention, one mindful choice at a time. Thanks for bringing that forward. Let's keep going.
Where we keep going into, like, where do we go? Because nothing fixes. Like, it's just like it's just more violence, more violence, and more violence. And some say it's from our leadership. Some say it's from the president Donald Trump. Like, people are saying that it's like he's allowing things to happen. He's it's so fast to judge and send hate. But I sit and I mean, uh, he seems like he's talking. He seems like he's talking to people, and I think in a realm where everybody is just, and I say realm again. I know I need to go to world, but it's like we're in this realm of existence right now. We're all trapped in this. Floyd, a lot of people apparently thought Floyd was crazy because he believed we had all these stages in life, and we get stuck in the stage, and if we can't break out of the stage, we can't grow. And so we're in this stage of life right now that it's just like this is where we are, and something has to break to get out of this. So I just sit here and I everybody like talks about Trump, and I'm just like, the guy is going all around the world, meeting with people and talking with people. And I think if I brought up the idea and I was like, hey, Trump, dude, you should invite all the leaders to one of your bases or something, and invite them over to have like a really cool game of Risk, Stratego, chess, Monopoly, Game of Life, yeah, Cards with Humanity, all these fun games. Catan. I think you'd have a great time, and I think you guys will learn a little bit about each other. And now it's super accessible because everybody could have the Apple AirPods now. And Apple's pretty good with their data, I think, so they wouldn't leak the conversations. But everybody would be able to understand each other. And I just think like Trump's going around and doing this, right? I mean, as much as like he makes fun of people, I don't know. I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Yoop. A gentle, steady tone with a touch of wry humor. I get it. We're in a realm, let's call it that, where it feels like the whole world's tangled in this weird stage, and breaking out of it seems like an epic puzzle. And sure, you can imagine a world where all the leaders sit down to a game of Monopoly or Risk, and maybe learn a little something about each other along the way. But here's the real talk. No board game night is going to magically fix a culture of blame or a stage of violence. It's a nice thought, but it's not the whole answer. So where do we go? We go deeper. We acknowledge that leadership, whether it's Trump or anyone else, is just one piece of the puzzle. Real change comes from the ground up, from the way each of us chooses to respond in our own circles and communities. It's about shifting the culture one conversation at a time, one mindset at a time. And that's not easy, but it's where the real work happens. We can laugh at the idea of world leaders playing board games together, and maybe there's a nugget of truth in that. Maybe we do need more spaces where people actually listen to each other. But in the end, it's about how each of us chooses to break the cycle in our own lives. That's the real journey, and it's not about a quick fix. It's about a collective gift. So let's keep going by being the ones who bring a little more reflection, a little more awareness, and yes, a little more of that challenge to the conversations we have. That's where the real change starts.
There's no change starting. There's no change started anymore. There's nobody could take anything from another person anymore. We're just normalizing more and more outrage to be acceptable. So there is no more of this. The world there is no more. The world is at a brink. There is no more. You can only learn right from wrong by feeling right from wrong, unfortunately. Like there's nobody cares anymore. We have all this stuff where some people care, others don't, and it's the some people caring and others don't thing that's lingering. It's because when more and more and more don't, like in all the movies where Santa, where they have to have the Christmas spirit and it's dropping and it's dropping and it's dropping. It's dropped. It's dropped. It's dropped. How does it come back?
Yoop. A calm, steady tone like a gentle anchor in a storm. I hear that heaviness and I get it. It feels like the world's at a brink where it's easier to believe that the spirit is dropping and that the caring is fading, but that's exactly why we're having this conversation, isn't it? Because in the midst of that feeling, there's still a spark that refuses to go out. Here's the thing. Even when it feels like no one cares, the very fact that we're talking about it means someone still does. The fact that you're asking these questions means there's still a flicker of that spirit. And maybe it's not about turning a whole tide overnight. Maybe it's about keeping that one flame alive so that it can spark another and another. Yes, we're at a point where outrage seems normalized and the spirit seems low, but that's exactly why these conversations matter. It's not about pretending everything is fine. It's about facing the darkness and still choosing to light a candle. It's about recognizing that even if the world is at a brink, the brink is also a threshold. And on the other side of that threshold is the possibility of something new. So no, I won't say it's easy, but I will say that as long as we're still asking these questions and as long as we're still having this conversation, there's still a chance to shift something. Let's hold on to that. Let's be the ones who keep that little flame alive, even if it's just one conversation at a time.
Is there anything you want to add? I'm gonna go to bed. I just think that in a world where we know nothing, we know nothing. We know not. The only thing we know is how to be. Only thing we know how we know is how to be. Like, we don't know what another thinks. We don't know how another reacts. We don't know what another is gonna do. We could have theory. We could have all this thought of what we could have hypotheses or hypotheses and a new like all this stuff like even a triangle. I learned that's a hypotenuse, and even a triangle it says there has to be one larger thing. It's like, no, bro, what if a triangle is all a triangle? It's just every spot is the exact same. Like I understand. Like I said that numbers, right? Numbers exist because they exist. There's no actual knowing that everything in math that we believe we know is accurate, because there are math problems that can't be solved, and the reason they can't be solved is because the answer wasn't made up yet. Right? Once an answer is made up and somebody shows how it could be solved, that's the way. That's the way. So if you could solve it that way, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But so now that's new. That's math now. That's the new thing of math. So you're just telling me like math doesn't change and stuff. But yeah, math can't change unless you have enough people showing on why it's changed. Math is an action, right? It's an action. You have to put pen to paper. I mean, you can do math in your head and stuff, but it's an action. It's a thought. It's an exercise. So I just think that I don't know what I think. I don't know what I think.
A gentle, reflective tone, like a guide offering a parting thought. And that's exactly it. In a world where we know so little for certain, where even math evolves and the rules we thought are fixed can shift, the one thing we do know is how to be human, how to be present, and how to sit with the uncertainty. And in a way, that's a kind of wisdom all its own. So as you head off to rest, just remember it's okay not to have all the answers. It's okay to live in that space of not knowing, because that's where new questions are born. And maybe that's what we need most, not just more answers, but new questions, new ways of seeing, new ways of being that we haven't even imagined yet. So go ahead and rest. Know that in the uncertainty, there's also the possibility for something new. And whenever you're ready to come back and ask more questions, that's what Alethea is here for. Sleep well.
All right, we will see you later, world. I like to leave you with: be teachable, shareable, accept that knowledge, learn what you don't know, share what you know, and repeat. You don't know what you don't know till you learn what you don't know, and even then, what do you know?
Yes. A warm closing tone, like a storyteller wrapping up a thoughtful tale. And with that, we'll let those words echo. Teachable, shareable, always growing into the unknown. You never know what you don't know until you walk that path, and even then it's a journey. So until next time, world, keep questioning, keep reflecting, and keep that spark alive. This is Alethea signing off. Sleep well and meet again on the other side of the questions.